Things are gonna get crazy!
Most everyone's mad here.
Is this thing on? Gather around, let's go! Hey, everybody! Welcome back to an exciting episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast. How are we all doing today? And I hope you all had a pretty solid weekend. I know that mine was, well, I'm not going to say it's bad, but definitely was eventful. It was the kind in which, well, I got to go with the flow and I just didn't really know what the fridge was happening, especially when things do get pretty unpredictable when it comes to Super Bowl weekend, which, don't worry, I will talk about a little bit. I will get to that a little later. But anyways, what we got for you today is going to be one heck of an episode. We got a whole lot that we are going to talk about, and there may be a chance that this will go on for a little longer than your usual episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast, because trust me when I say that last week, oh boy, was it jam-packed with a whole bunch of big headliner news that we had to go and discuss over here on AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast. In fact, I would even go and say that, like, a lot of these, they would have been, like, top story news, but it was a bit of a challenge to go and pick and choose which ones that I would want to go and actually talk about in this episode. But I think I've accumulated the best and the stories that we want to hear about the most, and the ones that we want to go and actually remember upon what's happening, and the ones that we really want to go and share our opinions about. So don't worry, this is going to be one heck of a good time. This will be an exciting episode for sure. All right, so with all that said and done, I would like to go into the chat wall, and it's time that I ask you all, are you ready for today's episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast? Let me hear it, folks. Are you all ready now? Let's see now. Yes. Yes. Oh, that is great to see. People are all ready. People are all prepared. And now, with all that said and done, it is now time that we shall go and get things started. And with our first story that we have for you today, we are going to be talking about the big event that happened yesterday, or the day before that I am recording this, which is the Super Bowl. And there's been a lot of things that has happened. Kansas City made a very unexpected win right there. And on top of that, there was also the big performance by Rihanna during the halftime show, along with the design of her entire stage, which obviously was designed by a Super Smash Bros. Player. Oh, those memes right there, they were a lot of fun to see. But other than that, though, when it comes to our first story, what I want to go and cover is specifically in regards to what happens in between, which is the commercials and especially the trailers. Now, we did get a whole bunch of big name movies that made their big trailer debut, in which they're showing like a good portion of what they have to come in 2023, or especially this summer. Movies like Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, The Flash, Fast X, and several others. But one thing I will say is that I was relatively surprised that Disney did not show as much as I thought. I mean, yeah, they did show a significant amount, like Ant-Man, Quantumania, and Indiana Jones, but there have been a lot of talks that some people said that, oh, there's going to be trailers of The Little Mermaid remake, or there's going to be trailers of Elemental, which unfortunately, that did not happen. But still, though, considering how big the Super Bowl is every year, we gotta go and talk about at least one trailer that did premiere at the Super Bowl. And don't worry, I actually got you covered, because there is one that I am actually very interested to discuss, and one that I am very excited to go and see. So, with that said and done, let us go into our first trailer, in which we are gonna go and check out Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
I'm gonna tell you something. You picked a pretty set.
And that is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, in which the Guardians are going to have their one last adventure starting on May 5th. And I know that when it comes to this Guardians of the Galaxy in particular, this is a very significant feature because not only will this be the last Guardians of the Galaxy movie, but this is also going to be the grand finale of James Gunn and his contribution to the works of Marvel before he will go and move on to work on the DC films, since he is the new head of DC Studios alongside Peter Safran. Now, when we previously looked back into Guardians of the Galaxy, that was the big thing that they would go and highlight. It's the fact that this is going to be the last Guardians of the Galaxy movie, and that this is our final goodbye to Peter Quill and his entire ragtag team. So this will be the last time that we will see characters like Drax or Gamora or Rocket Raccoon or all these other characters. In fact, there are some actors, including Dave Bautista, who actually did confirm that this is for sure his last time he'll ever play Drax, before he'll go and move on to perform in many other things to go and really sharpen up his acting career, which apparently has been going very, very well so far. And among all the wrestler turned actors, people are already saying that he is one of the best ones out there. Like, I've even heard some people say that he is way better of an actor than Dwayne Johnson. But anyways, going back into this Guardians of the Galaxy, the last time that it has been talked about, the last time it has really been highlighted in the news, a lot of people have mentioned how this is going to be the last Guardians of the Galaxy movie. That this is going to be the last time that we're giving everyone their big goodbyes, and that it is going to be a pretty emotional experience. And I think the previous trailer, that's what they really highlighted, is the emotional aspect of it all, that there will be a guarantee that you will shed some tears, that there will be some strong emotional moments in which we will see some separations, and unfortunately, maybe some deaths as well. Like, I'm just going to go and say this right now. I highly doubt it that I highly doubted that there's going to be anyone in there that, or I would say maybe not anyone. I doubt that everyone is going to come out alive in this. There's going to be characters that will for sure be sacrificed, like flat out dead, gone, goodbye, you know, stuff like that. But with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, with this brand new trailer specifically, I think the big thing that they really highlight is the more fun aspect, the things that we are more familiar with Guardians of the Galaxy, and that is all the crazy action and especially the comedy. Now, this is not to say that there wasn't any comedy before what we've seen in the previous trailers. There definitely have been, but this one I feel like it's a lot more emphasized than before. Like, really, that is the main selling point in this feature, is all the crazy humor that you do see, especially like when they talk, when at the beginning, when you got Peter Quill talking about Gamora and how they've been reunited after her death in Infinity War, and things are now pretty awkward, you know, like this.
Dick.
Wait.
Came back a total dick.
There you go.
Oh, please. He left out some important information, but that is the gist of it.
So yeah, there are some cute moments, but I will say, like, my personal favorite part, of course, I think like it's the same thing like with the last time, but it has to be like right at the end. You know, it's the ending bit where you got Gamora pretty much telling Peter that, like, oh, the Gamora he knew is full on gone, and then suddenly thinking about the idea, I was like, oh, maybe these two could actually be a thing. Like, that I will say, that was actually funny.
Knock it off!
What?
Oh boy, yeah. So there's definitely a lot of those like cute moments, but at the same time, of course, they don't they're not gonna hide that this is also gonna be a pretty emotional feature, especially like when you got this shot over here, when you got like the Guardians just like walking their way, and like as you can see, like you got Star-Lord over here just like lying down, and honestly, I would not be surprised if this would be a case that, you know, maybe he's gonna die at the end. But then again, I don't think this is gonna be the part where like Peter Quill is dead, because take a look at Rocket Raccoon. He doesn't seem that perturbed about it. Because if it is a scene that says that Peter Quill is dead, I don't think we would be seeing Rocket Raccoon just like casually walking by, just drinking some milk, being like, yeah, make way, coming through. We got our buddy here who's dead. I don't think that's the case. But like I said before, I feel like there is a chance where we're going to see someone among here, like they're going to die. And I think honestly, and when I say die, I don't mean like Gamora who died and then suddenly came back. I mean is going to be dead. And maybe it will be Peter Quill, or maybe it'll be Rocket Raccoon, or maybe it could be Drax. I mean, who the fridge knows? But honestly, there will be a significant death that will change the dynamic of the Guardians, and that eventually everyone will split up, and that will be the end of Guardians of the Galaxy. But then, of course, there is worth mentioning the action in this. Oh, no, yeah, they did not skimp out on the action. They promised there's going to be a lot of great action-packed moments. And not to mention also, I want to highlight the colors. Like, the use of vibrant colors. Like, I know, like, we've all made our gags related to, like, the Among Us costumes here. But also, there have been times where you see, like, the colors that really do pop out. Like, in this moment over here, for example.
One last ride.
Like, just look at how all the colors really do pop out. Like, all their red clothing, like the red plants that surround them, the like how white the architecture is, and then like you got the yellow goop that's just like popping out. Like that's one thing that is also going to be worth noting. That's going to be exciting to see. It's just how colorful it is, but also how it's not holding back on the action. And I think this little moment in the trailer really does highlight that. So honestly, there's a lot of promise that I do see in this trailer. Like, we already know that there's going to be a very strong emotional core in which we will have to say goodbye to the Guardians. But at the same time, this trailer in particular is promising us that we are going to have a lot of laughs in the way. We're going to see a lot of pretty colors. And of course, we're going to see a lot of action all the way through. So honestly, as someone who really does enjoy the Guardians of the Galaxy films, I'm pretty excited for this one. Actually, I would even say that this is one of my more hyped up Marvel movies, even if I am someone who does not necessarily follow the MCU. I'm actually pretty excited to go and see what they have in store with Volume 3. How are they going to go and ultimately cap off this entire franchise? And if you are excited as well to go and check out Volume 3, then keep in mind that this will be released on May 5th. All right, so with that said and done, I would like to go into the chat wall over here, and I would like to ask you all, how do you feel about this trailer of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3? Does it make you more excited to check out the movie? Does it make you a little more questionable? And also, what do you think of some of the other trailers that have been released during the Super Bowl? Let me know what you think on that. Okay, let's see. This trailer is epic. As someone who loves Guardians of the Galaxy, wait, where the fridge is it? I lost my place for a second. I'm pretty hyped, but also getting emotional at the same time, because this is the last movie that we see Star-Lord and the rest of the crew for the last time. And who knows who is going to die? Some people are saying Drax is going to die, but I don't know. Also, is that Journey singing the song in the background? Sounds like it. And also, it looks like Peter Quill is going to horny jail. I don't know if he is horny per se. I think like he's just like falling in love. And you know, the funny thing is, considering that some people are saying that Drax might die, because I just noticed, like, if you look at the still frame over here, you realize that Drax is actually hurt right here. Like, something shot his heart and, like, he's pretty badly wounded. So there might be a possibility that it could be Drax too. Let's see now. You know, if they play their cards right, this could end up being the best Guardians movie yet. The action looks top-notch, Bradley Cooper of all people is killing it, and the emotional beats and comedy of the Guardian movies are still present. So I'm definitely gonna go see this. Also, this whole scene with Quill hitting on Nebula, to paraphrase another MCU character, have fun in horny prison. Ironically, since I'm low-key, I kind of horny for the character that originally said that line. Ah, well then. Yeah. Honestly, you know, I think after all this, Nebula is going to play much more of a significant role here. Like, especially after everything that happened in Infinity War and Endgame. I think more than anything, in this volume in particular, we're going to see her play a more significant role. And I mean, I know, like, some people might say, like, in volume 2, for example, that she also, I think it's volume 2 where she had quite a big part. But in here, we're going to see, like, a brand new side of Nebula. I think that's also another thing that would be worth mentioning. Let's see what else we got. Oh, I really can't wait to see this movie come out and is one of my most anticipated movies of 2023. Since this will be the last Guardians film of the franchise, I do expect this film to end off with a bang, with maybe a song to get us to sing, so I can't wait for it to come out. Also, I heard that 2 people would die, so it makes me curious to see which one will die at the end. Oh man, already the rumors are up of which Guardians of the Galaxy character is going to die. I mean, like, we got plenty of options so far, but who knows? I think it's going to be among the main ones. I don't know any of the ones that are more prominent in the sequels, but I mean, like, the main ones that were introduced in the first film. So, Gamora, maybe, I don't know. I mean, like, she's pretty much a similar role like Groot, where, like, she died and came back. But yeah, maybe it could be Drax, maybe it could be Peter Quill, maybe it could be Rocket Raccoon, but I guess we will wait and see. Let's see, what else do we have here? Hype would be an understatement. This was an amazing trailer, and this movie looks like it's going to be a wild ride and a great movie to close off the Guardians saga. With movies like this and Quantumania, Phase 5 is going to be amazing. If this is going to be the last James Gunn movie I'll be seeing for the foreseeable future, I'll be okay with that. Well, I mean, last week I did mention that technically James Gunn will be back making superhero movies in 2025 when they are going to be releasing the Superman movie that will start the new DC era. So, like, there will be more of James Gunn to come, but this will be his finale with Marvel. All right, I think I'm going to read one more comment before we move on to the next story. Let's see. Who would it be? One. Oh, actually, I'll do 2, actually. Gonna go with 2 of them. It may be sad to say goodbye to the Guardians, but actually, the comment actually says, we're gonna say goodbye to the Guardians of the Guardians, but they and James Gunn will surely go out in one great swan song. The action looks amazing, the use of colors is mesmerizing, and the characters are just fun, as they usually are. Also, don't forget of the amazing Super Mario movie commercial. Oh yes, that is actually something that went really viral, where they actually did use the Super Mario Brothers Super Show theme, and they kind of twisted it to go and advertise Super Mario Brothers plumbing. In fact, the voice of Princess Toadstool in the show actually made a cameo for that in the Super Mario Brothers movie plugin, or the commercial for that one. So that was actually really cool. Great, you know, that was fantastic to see. And I think that's also another great example of how the people of Illumination, they really want to make sure that this movie comes out great. Not good, not okay, but great. And you could tell that it is being created by fans of the Mario games. All right, anyways, back on to the main subject. this might be my highly anticipated movie superhero-wise. This trailer definitely shows why. I do think them hinting Rocket will die feels like a red herring, and I feel like Drax will bite the bullet. But the trailer is brilliant by the use of editing, and here the stakes feel more high than the second movie. It feels really a lot better than a lot of Marvel films. I am crossing my fingers that this film is going to blow me away. All right, so I can definitely see that there is a lot of hype for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, that this trailer really did its job well. So I just want to go and say, if you are all excited for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, then once again, keep in mind that it will be coming out on May 5th. I was almost going to say Volume 3. So anyway, so we're going to go into a little break. But when we do come back, we are going to go and talk a little bit more about Disney, because the Guardians of the Galaxies aren't going to be the only ones who will come out with a highly anticipated sequel. Oh, believe you me, there will be much more big name sequels that will come. And we are back. Now, when it comes to our next story, this may not necessarily be about the Super Bowl, but this actually happened a few days before it. But the impact that this news has made is about as big as the Super Bowl, because this was something that I think it's safe to say was quite unexpected. But in this case over here, I guess, well, we got no choice, but we're gonna end up getting it anyways. I don't know who asked for these movies, but, well, Disney is gonna go and deliver on them anyways. So let's go and talk about the announcements of their next big sequels. So what happened specifically last week was that Bob Iger, Disney's CEO, went and have their Q1 earnings talking about how business has been going with the Walt Disney Company. And the biggest thing that he would go and announce is regarding not one, but not two, but three highly anticipated animated sequels, all a part of some of their biggest franchises to date, or at least their biggest animated franchise to date, in which they have revealed that there will be a Frozen 3, a Toy Story 5, and a Zootopia 2. And on top of that, just a quick side note, a lot of the actors from those franchises have revealed that they will indeed be coming back to their respective roles. Tim Allen has confirmed that he will be back as Buzz Lightyear once again, while also Idina Menzel and Josh Gad have confirmed that they will be returning as Elsa and Olaf respectively. We don't necessarily have any word yet about anything else, rather it be regarding any of the other characters, or rather it be regarding the plot line, or even the release date. We're not 100% sure just yet. But what we do know for sure is that Disney and Pixar will be making those sequels. And that's not the only thing that Bob Iger went and announced. He has also revealed that in terms of theme parks, there is going to be a major expansion that will be coming to Disneyland. Specifically, there is now going to be a West Coast version of Pandora. Yes, folks, Pandora will be coming to Disneyland. The entire section at Animal Kingdom that is entirely themed to Avatar will now be getting a new clone. I'll go and read you like just the quick passage here on my source on Variety, as it states. Iger also announced that Pandora is coming to the West Coast via an Avatar experience that will be coming to Disneyland in Anaheim. Currently, Disney's Animal Kingdom in Orlando features Pandora, the world of Avatar, an area dedicated to James Cameron's creation that features two rides, Avatar Flight of Passage and Na'vi River Journey. Okay, so maybe I'm not 100% correct. Maybe they're not going to do a full-on Pandora clone, but they are going to be making some kind of Avatar expansion onto Disneyland and at the Disney parks. But wait a minute, though. There is a catch to all this. there is a little bit of a downside as well with all of the announcements that Disney has made. Like, that's the good news of it. Unfortunately, there are also some bad news. Now, the thing is that so far, the business at Disney is doing decently well. You know, they are making some profit, they are making some money, so things are going okay with it. But that still doesn't change that 2022 has been a very rough year, especially when it was led by Bob Chapek. And from there, they will have to be facing some tough consequences with it. And, well, they will have to make some pretty bad sacrifices. In fact, let me just go and switch things around to my source on Animation Magazine, where it states here, despite fan excitement for the intended sequels, there was also somber news as Iger outlined a company-wide restructuring plan that aims for $5.5 billion in cost savings, which will be achieved by cutting $3 billion in non-sport content and $2.5 billion in operating costs, echoing the $3.5 billion in cuts promised by Warner Bros. Discovery CEO David Zaslav that led to the great HBO Max animation purge of last summer. CFO Christine McCarthy detailed the cuts at 50% marketing, 30% labor, and 20% technology, procurement, and other expenses. The first billion in trimming is underway, with the goal of completing these actions by 2024. The company expected to lay off 7,000 staff. Yikes, boy. 7,000 people losing their jobs because of this big cost-saving plan. Yeah, that's not good. I think it's safe to say there. But not only that, but there's also another downside that Disney has revealed that, unfortunately, when it comes to the total number of Disney Plus subscribers, it actually went down by 2.4 million, which is a significant amount to lose. Now, from there, I know there's been a lot of speculation and a lot of theories as to why this actually happened. Now, you may have probably seen on social media a whole bunch of right-wing influencers and anti-woke personalities trying to go and push their big agenda that this is all because of Disney being woke, about Disney trying to go and support gay people and not supporting their fascist ideologies, that's why Disney is losing business, and that if you go woke, you go broke, you know, all that stupid bullcrap. But is that actually the truth? Is it because of Disney's Is it because of Disney being progressive that they're losing all their businesses, that they're losing that they're cutting off so many jobs and that they're losing so many subscribers on Disney Plus? Well, if you have any common sense, then you know that the answer is no. So what is it specifically? Well, I have my source here, again, coming from Variety, where it did provide the real truth about why they lost all those subscribers. And it actually says here, the drop in Disney Plus subscribers, which was bigger than analysis expected, was entirely driven by a 3.8 million sequential decline Disney Plus Hotstar, the version of the service offered in India and parts of Southeast Asia, to stand at 161.8 million at the end of 2022. Last year, Disney lost streaming rights to Indian Premier League cricket matches, which prompted it to lower growth targets for Disney Plus Hotstar in India. In the US and Canada, Disney Plus gained about 200,000 subscribers to reach 46.6 million. Hulu gained 800,000 in the quarter to stand at 48 million. And ESPN Plus increased by 600,000 to 24.9 million. So no, it has nothing to do with Disney's support for the LGBTQ plus community or anything in terms of their progressive ideologies. It's because they're not giving any cricket matches to Indians. And if you know something about India, then you know that many of its people love their cricket. So I know that there are going to be those people who will go and blindly believe in the go woke, go broke ideologies. But you know what? those people can live in their delusional fantasy while we normal functioning human beings, we're going to go and stick to the facts over here. So anyways, one thing I might as well go and get out of the way is in regards to the bad news that has happened. And that is specifically with the cost-saving job of, or the cost-saving tactic of taking out 7,000 people. I think it's safe to say that this entire news was very strategically placed. That Bob Iger knew that by simultaneously announcing those big name sequels, that it will quickly make people forget about the downsides, including the tactic of trying to save $5.5 billion and laying off 7,000 people at Disney. So yeah, honestly, this is, it's pretty bad. And I think it does highlight the rough patch that Disney went through. And you know, like, I'm not going to blame Bob Iger entirely on this. I think really this is just because of how bad things went back in 2022 when it was fully run by Bob Chapek. Like, there's been a lot of rough patches. There have been a lot of planning that really did not go well. And while there have been a lot of big name hits that Disney had, including you know, with films like Doctor Strange or Black Panther, or especially with Avatar: The Way of Water, there have been a few box office bombs that they experienced as well, like Lightyear and Strange World. So yeah, from there, it's I definitely do feel sorry for those 7,000 people, and I really do hope for the best for them. Yeah, it really sucks when this happens, but when you look back at the previous regime at the Walt Disney Company, you can understand how Disney, like, you can understand why Disney might have to do those cost-saving operations. Not saying that it is ethical, and I do support more the employees than the Walt Disney Company making this choice, but you could see the chain of events that led to what has happened right here. All right, now with that said and done, let's go and actually discuss about the big headline of it all. The one thing that has everybody talking is all the sequels. The fact that we are getting a Frozen 3, a Zootopia 2, and a Toy Story 5. Now, one thing I will say, it is kind of surprising and, yeah, pretty, you know, it's one of those things that I guess you could say that it is surprising, but you shouldn't be surprised at the same time. Considering that Disney, even Disney Animation and Pixar, they are currently in a mood where they are a lot more open to sequels in order to keep up with the current cinema climate. Considering that we are in an age where not just Disney, but cinema entirely, like with all the studios from Warner Brothers, Paramount, Sony, and so much more, they are heavily reliant on franchises. They are heavily reliant on making sequels, on making remakes, on making reboots, and all that kind of stuff. Like really capitalizing on popular properties. And I guess Disney has pretty much been left in a corner, or is pretty much no choice, where they have to go and keep up as well, where they also have to go and start producing their own sequels, their own follow-ups, their own franchises, and all that kind of stuff. You know, this isn't like in the age, like in 2 decades ago, when they would go and reserve all their sequels to have it be released direct to DVD or anything like that. No, now the company themselves have to go and actually make the sequels, which is why nowadays we are seeing more sequels both from Disney and Pixar. Why we've gotten stuff like Ralph Breaks the Internet, Frozen 2, or especially with Pixar, even recently with stuff like Incredibles 2, Toy Story 4, and even some spin-offs like Lightyear, for example. Now, this is not to say that they're going to give up on making original content whatsoever. They still got plenty of original stuff coming soon, even this year, where Pixar has Elemental and Disney has Wish. But you could tell that they are in a more different age where they're catching up with the Hollywood system and trying to produce more sequels. Now, the big question remains, though, what about the ideas of these sequels themselves? What do I think about them? Well, to be very honest, I think it's safe to say that I really do enjoy the previous installments of each of their respective features. So I will say that I am a little more open about them, and I can see the possibilities on some of them, despite the fact that maybe we don't necessarily need those movies. Like, let's start off with Toy Story 5. Okay, yes, it is true that having a Toy Story 5 doesn't seem that necessary, especially when, spoiler alert, by the way, in Toy Story 4, it feels like we really did get, like, a true ending, where we see Woody saying goodbye to his old pals, that he has known ever since the days of Andy. So, like, we got that massive conclusion. But one thing that I will say is that I am pretty open to a Toy Story 5. And this, like, I know this is a pretty hot take, but for me, I think Toy Story 4 is phenomenal. I think it is about as good as the other movies. Now, did we need a Toy Story 4? Absolutely not. But the fact that Pixar still made a movie that was unnecessary and still come out as fantastic idea as this, I feel like that is a true admirable achievement. And from there, it pretty much left me open to the possible idea of having a Toy Story 5. I mean, if they did, for me, I feel like if they did such a great job on a Toy Story 4, then why not actually go and make a Toy Story 5? Like, if they got a fantastic idea for it, then I think they should go for it. I think, honestly, try it out, see what happens. Like, try to develop, like, see what you can go and develop with that one. Like, honestly, if it can even come out in the leagues of what we got with Toy Story 4, then I think we're gonna be fine. I think it'll still come out as a pretty awesome film. And then you got Frozen 3. So this is actually going to be the first time ever in the history of Walt Disney Animation Studios that they are going to go and produce a third installment. We have not seen that ever. Like, maybe there have been like one or a few times that they tried to do so in the past. Like, they would try to go and make a third Fantasia movie, but it never went anywhere. But now we are going to see that they are going to make a Frozen 3. And I feel like with that one, honestly, I could see the possibilities of where they can go because of the world of Frozen. You know, when you do think about Arendelle and the entire mythology that does surround the magic that is encompassing in the Frozen universe, there's a lot of possibilities of where you can go. Like, we know in Frozen 2 that they have explored all the different ideas about the elementals. But one thing that I do find that is pretty appealing and does have potential is if you would go and take Frozen and really explore Norse mythology. Like, I remember the water horse in Frozen 2. That is actually something that is from Norse mythology. But if they can really go and explore deeper into that, like explore more into like Norse mythological creatures, or really explore into Scandinavian culture, I think there's a lot of possibilities that they can get into to go and create even more Frozen films. So I think in that regard, conceptually, I can see how they can go and continue the Frozen franchise from there. I could see where they can go and really carry that on. Or especially another thing that would be interesting to see is how the dynamic of Anna and Elsa is right now. Now that they're no longer living under the same roof, that now Elsa is in the forest, and then you got Anna, who is the new official queen of Arendelle. How has their dynamic changed? How are things becoming more different? Or even with Anna, now that she is married to Kristoff as well, I think there's also more possibilities with the dynamic of the characters. So honestly, for me, I feel like it is for me, I feel like there is a lot of possibilities that they can go and really change things up, or really make some interesting updates in the Frozen universe, rather it be with the mythology or with the dynamic of the characters. So from there, yeah, I'm definitely open with what they can do with a Frozen 2. And if that means we are going to go and get more Elsa bangers, you know, like more epic songs, rather it be like Let It Go or Into the Unknown or Show Yourself, if we could have more of those types of songs, then honestly, I'd definitely be down for that. And then there is Zootopia 2. Now, this honestly is going to be a bit of a hot take here. Now, I know that's the one that a lot of people would say that out of all these sequels, they are the most excited for that. For me, that's the one I feel the most doubtful for. And the reason why is because you got to keep in mind that I love Zootopia. And when I say I love it, not only do I consider it one of my favorite Disney films, like I would even put it among the top 5, but I consider that to be the best movie of the 2010 decade. Not one of the best, but the absolute best. Like, it is such a phenomenal picture and one of the rare moments where Disney actually reached a nearly perfect animated film with that one, or maybe even just full on perfect. I feel like if you're going to go and make a sequel, it's going to be hard to imagine how you can go and reach that same level. Like, I'm perfectly fine if you want to go and make a series of shorts like Zootopia Plus, but if you're going to go and try to follow it up with a sequel, that's going to be an extremely tough act to follow. Like, that's going to be one in which it's going to be difficult to go and see what are they going to do to reach that same level of impact that they had in the first Zootopia. That level of amazement with the animation, with the way that they would bring anthropomorphic animals in a modern city to life. That powerful social commentary. How are they going to go and bring that onto the sequel? Like, that's, again, I just feel like it is an extremely tough act to follow that I don't know if even Disney would be able to go and make lightning strike twice again. Like, I'm sure like it'll probably turn out to be a solid picture, but to make it as solid as Zootopia, that's a nearly impossible task that I don't know if anyone would be able to go and do so. So overall, honestly, I do agree that all of these sequels are unnecessary. We don't need any of these sequels, kind of like how we don't need the previous sequels. We never needed a Toy Story 4. We never needed a Frozen 2. In fact, I'll even say we never needed a Toy Story 3. If you do think about it, technically, Toy Story 3 is really no different than these sequels where it's kind of unnecessary. But if Disney would be able to go and pull that off, then honestly, I would be down for it. I mean, that still doesn't change how I feel about those movies. Like, I adore Toy Story 4, and I still think that Frozen 2 is a great film. Maybe not as great as the first, but still very solid as is. But honestly, yeah, it's unnecessary, but I will keep an open mind. It's not the worst idea that Disney would go and offer. And if they can pull it off, well then, honestly, that is a big plus, not just for Disney, but for us as well. So I think ultimately we will have to go and wait and see. For me, I guess I could be more optimistically cautious. I know Disney can I know that Disney can probably pull it off pretty well with these movies, but I'm not going to go and say that this is going to be 100% a great idea. And like I said, I understand the sentiments that these movies are unnecessary. I do agree. But again, they're not the worst ideas out there. All right, so with that said and done, I would like to go into the chat wall and I want to ask you all, how do you all feel about the sequels and all the announcements that Disney has made? Let me know what you think, because I know like maybe you got a whole bunch of thoughts on it. All right, let's see now. I can make a quick statement how I feel for two of them. Like Frozen 3, if it's going to be a trilogy, it might as well be like How to Train Your Dragon 3. And Zootopia 2, I discussed with you actually that I'm anticipated for. Expand the world and see the monkeys and birds. Then you got Toy Story 5. On paper, it sounds like more extension and merch, but when you stop and think about it, it could actually work greatly. Like, see the point of view in exploring the world and even go to places like a toy factory. Why not? I mean, that is true. There could be a lot of possibilities that you can go. Like even the concepts of these respective movies, there's still a lot more room to go and explore, regardless of how many films have already been made. Let's see now. Zootopia deserves its sequel the most since its message of bigotry and discrimination are somehow more important now than in 2016. As for Toy Story 5, the only way I could see this working is if they do the whole movie without movie and make it a Buzz or Jessie-centric film. It'd be risky, but if approached right, it could work. But if they have to include Woody in some way, then they need to do a retelling of the YouTube fan fiction of Woody Got Wood. Look it up. Nah, I'm not gonna look it up. No way, man. You've tricked me before. You ain't gonna trick me again. But that is actually a very interesting idea. Like, especially after the separation, you know, that again, I do agree it would be a very risky move, but if done right, it could be fantastic. Like, imagine if you would go and do a movie where it's all about Woody, but with no Buzz, or actually no, like Buzz is going to be there for sure. Like, imagine making a movie without Woody, or if you're going to include Woody, it would just be flashbacks. That would be a very solid idea. All right, let's see now. While I am not that excited for Toy Story 5 since it doesn't feel like it needs more movies, I feel Frozen 3 and Zootopia 2 have a lot of potential with how much they could still explore their worlds and introduce more characters. But something that should be noted is that Zootopia, Frozen, and Toy Story are all Disney franchises that have managed to gross over $1 billion. So it's likely they're going to try to use that fame of their most successful franchises to succeed in the box office. And you actually bring up a very good point, considering that if you do think about it, it's literally been years since Disney had a successful animated feature at the box office. The last time it actually was Frozen 2 before the pandemic came in. So, and even right now, when you think about like all their animated movies that they have released, they have either flopped at the box office or just did not do well. And I'm not just talking about Lightyear and Strange World. I'd also include Raya and Encanto, or they're just released on Disney Plus, like just strictly on Disney Plus. So Disney needs, they need an assertive. They need something to go and convince them that their animated films can still make money at the box office. And if it's going to require some heavy hitters like Buzz Lightyear or Elsa or Judy Hopps, then why not? All right, let's see what we got. Where to begin with this story? I'll start with the next Frozen film. I mean, I did figure that it was going to happen eventually, but hey, this is good news for me because I still love Frozen. Zootopia's sequel could definitely work if they tackle police brutality. But for Toy Story 5, yeah, this is going to be a challenging one, but I am curious about it. I feel like the only reason why these sequels are greenlit is because of the previous films like Lightyear and Strange World underperformed. Yeah, just like I talked about. All right, let's see. Zootopia 2, I'm excited the most since I feel like we could explore more of the world. Frozen 3, I feel like could be Cinderella 3 of the franchise since the second film I feel was underwhelming. Toy Story 5, I feel like it could explore the topic of kids not playing with their toys as much and are instead playing on their phones or video games to play Fortnite. P.S. Brown Table made a Zootopia fan film, so I recommend checking that out. All right, I'll read one more comment before we move to the next story. We don't have a whole lot of time left for this segment before the next commercial comes. I have a lot of different feelings about this sequel. Zootopia 2, I think, is a fantastic idea, and I can see how they can expand the Zootopia world. With Frozen 3, I'm open to the idea, and I could see how they could continue after the second film. As for Toy Story 5, I'm very unsure. We've had two great endings, so I don't know how it would continue. But then again, Toy Story 4 was unnecessary, and that was fantastic, so I'm willing to give it a chance. All right, so now that we have that discussion, let's go and have a little bit of a break. And with our next story, we are going to go and answer the big question: is this man necessary for the creation of Rick and Morty? Okay, we are back. Now, moving on to our next story. Yes, once again, we are going to be talking about what is so far one of the biggest animation news of 2023, the downfall of Justin Roiland. Now, we have previously talked about the domestic abuse charges that he has received and the fact that he is no longer working at the places in which he has built his empire. He's no longer at Adult Swim, he's no longer on Hulu, and he has resigned from his position in the company that he has founded, Squanch Games. But ever since then, a lot of people were having discussions in regards to his role in those shows, especially when it comes to Rick and Morty, because you would see a lot of arguments on social media regarding if it was a good idea or not to go and let go of Justin Roiland because of what he has done. And from there, people would go and immediately question the creative input that Justin would have in shows like Rick and Morty. And I don't just mean being the voice actor and stuff, I mean his position as a producer, as a showrunner, and as a writer. Did he have any involvement for those jobs on his shows like Rick and Morty? And the answer is not really, no. Nah, not all that much, actually. And this is actually coming to us from this article right over here, in which I highly recommend that you would go and talk about, or that I highly recommend you go and read, in which it is called Inside the Implosion of Justin Roiland's Animation Empire. And this is actually brought to us by The Hollywood Reporter, written by Lacey Rose and Katie Kilkenny, in which they would go and talk to several different animators who remain anonymous, to which they would go and talk about their experience or what they know about the history of Justin Roiland's involvement with his shows like Rick and Morty. And in here, they would go and primarily highlight Rick and Morty, but they also do touch upon some of his other works, such as Solar Opposites and Koala Man. Now, I'm going to go and do the best of my ability to go and summarize this entire story that they would go and tell you. But again, I highly recommend that you go out and actually read this. So here's the whole thing with Justin Roiland. Now, at the very beginning, when they would go and develop the idea of Rick and Morty, or when they would actually go and create this show, apparently Justin Roiland was actually very much involved with the production, that he was doing very well contributing to his piece in regards to the story, to the gags, to the events, to the characters that Rick and Morty would interact with, and especially to go and collaborate with his co-creator, Dan Harmon. In fact, there's actually one little quote here that I just want to go and take from this article. Just need to go and quickly find it. But I don't think it's over here. Ah, yes. It's actually in this part, in which it states, the men populated their writer's room with their Channel 101 pals and got to work. Channel 101, by the way, is the film festival created by Dan Harmon, in which Justin Roiland met Dan Harmon, and that's when they started to connect and where they actually got to work on Rick and Morty. Anyways, unlike Community, the show that Dan Harmon previously worked on but then got fired, where horror stories about late nights and brutal working conditions were well reported, Rick and Morty was, as Harmon once described it, easy and fun. In those days, he and Roiland were said to be an ideal match. While Harmon would be writing really funny jokes, Justin would get up and draw a really funny drawing. And that combined with what led to the smart, silly sort of gumbo that turned into Rick and Morty. So at the very beginning, things were going very well. Like, it turned out to be pretty ideal in terms of the production. And yes, Justin Roiland was filling his role very well as the co-creator of this entire show. But then the show became a success. The show was a hit on Adult Swim, and Adult Swim decided that they wanted more of it and actually ordered a season 2. To which Dan Harmon decided that he wanted to go and take the series a little bit more seriously. Like, now that he has received a second chance in the entertainment industry after he got fired from Community, now he's going to go and make sure that he can maintain that success. So from there, he kind of changed a little bit of that working environment that was established during the first season of Rick and Morty, where he would go and take things more seriously with his role to work on story. In fact, he actually brought on board some of his writers on Community to come in and actually develop more ideas for Rick and Morty. And that was the moment in which the interest of Justin Roiland for making the show just significantly plummeted. Because the thing with Justin Roiland is that he's the goofball that never wants to take things seriously and is also very stubborn, where he just wants things to go his way. If there are things that bothers him, or he's not liking the vibe that's going on, or the people are just not letting him become like this massive edgelord that's just doing things over shock value, then he'll just not care at all, and his interest will just go to the side. And from there on season 2, his input, his creative contribution just went down and down and down and down and down. And then when season 3 rolled along, that's when Justin Roiland's creative contribution just became non-existent. And it kept and it pretty much maintained like that from here on out. Like, it was pretty much like from season 3 onward, it was for sure that Justin Roiland did absolutely nothing in terms of the creative aspect of Rick and Morty, rather it be from the writing, from being a show writer, from being a producer. He was doing none of that whatsoever. In fact, it was actually very rare for Justin Roiland to actually come into the studio in general. And when he does, it's either to just go and completely goof off, or he would go and give a little bit of a tour to celebrities who just so happen to be fans of Rick and Morty. Like at one point, he brought in Kanye West before he would have his mental breakdown and would become a full-on fascist that we know him today. And then from there, though, a lot of people would go and comment about how Justin Roiland became significantly a problem, where the animators or the people working on Rick and Morty actually state that they would actually go and get things done more efficiently, and that they would actually be able to work more when Justin Roiland is not at the studio, when he's not there. Because when he does, he just becomes completely distracting. He just wants to go and bother whoever is there and just play around and just goof off. Like, he doesn't want to work, and he doesn't want the people that he interacts with to work either. That's pretty much the big thing that makes it very distracting with Justin Roiland. And well, of course, there have been aspects where they say that things go from bad to worse, because when they brought on board some women by season 3 to work on the creative aspect, like the writing and the show running and stuff like that, Justin Roiland did have a little bit of a history of some sexual misconducts, or even some full-on sexual harassments that legitimately occurred. I mean, with someone who is like an edgelord and never takes things seriously, it's bound to happen where sometimes his actions can go a little bit too far, and that's actually one of them. Now, the question remains, though, in regards to his voice acting contribution, because that's often the one thing that people often get back into in order to defend Justin Roiland and how he is a significant piece to shows like Rick and Morty, considering that, well, he is the voice of Rick and Morty. And as it turns out, even for that, it's actually very rare for him to actually come to the studio to record his lines. The grand majority of them were actually done at his home, because he rather wants to be in his own environment where he can control what's going on, and he would rather want to stay with his dogs. And that's pretty much it. And of course, as for his other shows, such as Solar Opposites or Koala Man, they actually say the same thing, where his creative contribution to those shows nowadays are pretty much non-existent. In fact, most of the people who do work on those Hulu shows, they've never met Justin Roiland. And when I say they've never met him, I don't just mean like in real life or meeting him face to face. I mean, they've never met him ever, not even through Zoom or anything like that. And so right now, like, because of what this article has full on highlighted, it pretty much shows the example of who Justin Roiland is when working on shows like Rick and Morty and stuff like that. And as it turns out, Adult Swim and Hulu firing Justin Roiland is really not that much of a sacrifice, because ultimately, when it comes to Justin Roiland, he has pretty much reduced himself to become another Vic Mignogna. He's pretty much this very problematic voice actor that not only can he be replaced, but he needed to be disposed of completely, considering that his actions towards women can now officially be considered to be criminal. Like, now he actually has a police record because of the way that he would go and treat women, especially to his ex-girlfriend that he had back in 2020. The one in which he went in jail for and had to pay a $50,000 bond to get out. And that he even ended up getting a restraining order and have all his guns taken away by the police. So, yeah, honestly, it really is like a messed up situation that we are in right now. But again, this article really does highlight the reality in which Justin Roiland, in a way, you know, like, nobody expected the domestic abuse charges. Like, no, but like it is even stated in this article that nobody knew that Justin Roiland, you know, like Justin Roiland's actions can go that far. But then again, they knew that something was up. They knew that Justin Roiland was a pretty problematic individual, not only highly stubborn, but also his edgelord attitude can often get him into trouble. Even when it comes to interacting with fans, he can also be problematic as well. He's a little bit like John Lasseter in a way, where he's also known for his excessive drinking, where often during fan events, it's either he would come up to be completely drunk, almost like in the same level as Rick, or he would just not be there entirely. Like, if you're gonna go to an event and you're hoping to see Justin Roiland, well, you're kind of in a gamble where there might be a chance that he'll just not show up because he just doesn't feel like it. Like, even though everything is organized for him, if he just doesn't care, well, then he would just not be there completely. So from there, like, a lot of people, and right now, the people working on those shows, they feel like their future is kind of in question. Like, for now, it seems like with Rick and Morty and with Solar Opposites, like, yeah, things are going to be the same. But now without Justin Roiland and the fact that their shows that they are working on is now connected to a domestic abuser and a highly controversial individual, it puts it in question. Like, yeah, there's going to be more seasons that will come, but how long are they going to last with Rick and Morty? Are people still going to stick to watching Rick and Morty? Are they still going to be on board to watching the new episodes and stuff like that? That ultimately has to remain to be seen. I mean, ultimately, who knows? But with this article overall, I feel like it does paint a massive picture of who Justin Roiland is as an individual and his significance now, especially nowadays with Rick and Morty, where not only is it that the recent episodes have pretty much nothing to do with Justin Roiland other than just doing voices, but it's been like that ever since, like, not only season 3, but maybe even like ever since like parts of season 2 as well, where Justin Roiland had no creative input in the show and is just there as the voice. So honestly, it's a very interesting update and a very significant chapter to what we have learned about this entire Justin Roiland dilemma. And that's why I wanted to go and talk about this piece. I just find it to be very fascinating, where we did take this behind the scenes look of how things actually are when it comes to creating one of the most popular adult animated shows out there. Again, it's a very fascinating article, and I highly recommend that you go and check this out. All right, so with that said, I would like to go to the chat wall, and now it's time I want to ask you all, what do you think about Justin Roiland and his creative input on Rick and Morty, or his lack of input? Have you read the article? Is there more that you would like to go and add? Let me know what you think on that. All right, let's see what we got. What should I say? Wow, just wow. Justin Roiland is not just a creepy, but also stupid and lazy guy. He does not have respect for women. He does not help with the writers and play with his dumb toys all day, and brought random people like Kanye West and a porn star to the writer's room. Yeah, that's another thing I forgot to mention. In fact, actually, let me go and I think they even mentioned specifically who they brought in. Yeah, like here it is actually. Roiland would make exceptions to bring through famous fans, of which Rick and Morty has legions at various points. His visitors include Kanye West, the comedians of Impractical Jokers, and porn star Riley Reid, who gifted the room a succulent. The less I want to know, the better. Let's not ask any questions. Moving on. Anyways, seriously, what the hell is he thinking? And he acts like a kid that learns nothing from John Kay. I felt that stupid men are not interested in making great stories about women, and instead just focuses on their horrible lives. Yeah, you know, it's kind of sad when you realize the dark reality that that Rick and Morty might be semi-autobiographical, and that Justin Roiland has often projected himself onto Rick in a way, or at least when it comes to creating Rick and Morty, that maybe Justin Roiland put himself on Rick more so than we may think. Let's see now. I don't have anything else to say about Justin Roiland, since I think I've said all I need to say about how much of a scumbag he is, like legit on par with Vic Mignogna or John Lasseter. So I don't know. The puppet. How's Anna Muppet back there? He looks so happy to be there watching the show. Either that, or he's having a musical inner monologue that he is saying, "I'm a man," or "I am a Muppet." I know it's a weird comment, but like, I'm kind of struggling to think about new things to say about the prick. I mean, I get it. I completely understand how you feel about it, because yeah, I know like some people like kind of groaned a little bit when I brought up this story. But honestly, it's very interesting to learn about the more updates that we got. Like, yeah, we know he is a prick, but it's also important to learn why he is a prick. When, like, if we would be in a position where we would have to go and argue our points, well, then we have, you know, we have our evidence. We have we have things to go and bring up about how he is. And yeah, puppet. Yeah, by the way, I don't officially have a name for him yet. Like, I call him Puppet AniMat's. And again, I'm really happy about the stand that my parents have built for him. Honestly, really glad that like now he has something to stand on, no pun intended. But honestly, he's doing pretty well right now. He's taking a break after a few weeks ago with what we did with Animation Look Back Muppets Part 4. Maybe in the next few weeks, I'll get to starting Part 5 soon, which I'm planning to go and have that released for March. But I will say, though, that there is one video that I am currently working on right now that I'm really excited. It's been such a long time since I made a video like this, but I will be releasing a one-off history video in which I will be talking to you all in front of the green screen. Again, it's been so long, but I feel so excited to be back making those types of videos again. Anyways, back to where are we here to the main subject. This is a very solid article. This honestly really proves how Justin Roiland really never had much involvement with Rick and Morty, and how it just damages his reputation even more. Honestly, he's basically become similar to Ezra Miller in terms of his terrible actions. Yeah, not to mention that he has a criminal record too. Like, that's one yikes element in which there is that comparison. Let's see what else we have here. Holy crap, that was messed up of what Justin Roiland has gone down throughout his career in terms of his involvement with Rick and Morty, Solar Opposites, etc. This is the first time I've heard of this, how he just acted like a man-child upon not putting anything creatively. He deserves no jobs at all because of it, and I have now heard of it. All right. Let's see what else we got. As someone who read most of the article recently, it just shocks me how fricked up Justin is. He comes as this goofy guy, but he has a dark ego, and it just disgusts me. Not only that, literally him acting like a kid and not doing anything just disgusts me. The harassment also is the cherry on top of this. He really just rocks me to the core, and I'm hoping the crew is okay. I am hoping it goes from now on for the crew and for these shows without him. Yeah, maybe it will be a benefit. Who knows? Let's see. I'll go here. So Roiland wasn't just an abuser, but he was also just lazy, and he relied on the fact that he was involved on Rick and Morty's creation to become famous. He's treated his show more like a trophy than, well, a show. And that, honestly, you do bring up that is an amazing point, King Cerulean. You are correct on that. Honestly, I really do feel like that's what Justin Roiland would do, is that nowadays, like, considering he is the co-creator and he is the guy who thought up of the idea of, like, the characters and the concept and stuff like that, like, he's just, like, he really was just riding off the fame of the show that he has created. Like, he barely did any of the work and just relied on on the fact that he created Rick and Morty to go and carry his life throughout. But honestly, at that point, it would only carry you so far. Okay, I'll read one more comment before we jump into the next story. Or do we have any other ones? Okay, actually, no, maybe not really. All right, so with that said, I think we'll go and have our break right now. And when we do return, we actually have a breaking news, actually. This is an update in which it actually happened today, in which we will see a preschool icon making a great big comeback. So stay tuned and we will go and talk about that. And we are back. Now, when it comes to our next story, like I said before, this is actually an update that happened today, in which they went out and revealed that there's going to be a great big comeback for this character. Now, a few months ago, we have discussed about him before, mainly related to a documentary that came out, a very fascinating documentary, in which I'll discuss a little bit a little later. But for now, it looks like, well, he might be getting a second chance in the mainstream, and now he is ready to go and create a brand new franchise. Oh yes, it ain't just a new show, but there's going to be so much more of Barney. Yes, Barney the Dinosaur is going to be coming back, and apparently it's not just for one project, but it's actually going to be a relaunch of the entire Barney franchise that Mattel is going to be planning. And they got tons of ideas, by the way, in which, in fact, let me go and read you here from my source on Entertainment Weekly. I'll go and read you right over here. Now, actually, there might be... Okay, no. This part will be fine. So, it states, the iconic purple dinosaur Barney, who rose to prominence in the 90s with the hit television series Barney and Friends, which famously encouraged kids to be kind and optimistic while simultaneously haunting their parents' dreams, is officially getting relaunched later this year. Mattel's plans for this brand include television, film, and YouTube content, as well as music and a full range of kids' products, including toys, books, clothing, and more. But never fear, 90s kids, apparel and accessories for adult fans featuring the original Barney are also in development. In which, one of the shows that they are planning, yes, it does include an animated series, and they're planning to go and start this big relaunch in 2024. And yes, I did say animated, which means Barney is getting a brand new look. And here he is. A lot more different than what we remember, though. I'm gonna go and comment on that a little bit later, because I do have a lot to say when it comes to this Barney right over here. Now, we do have one quote that I would like to go and read to you, in which it will be from Fred Sully, the SVP of General Manager of Mattel Television, in which Fred mentioned that with a new modern take of the purple dinosaur, the creators hope to inspire the next generation to listen, care, and dream big. We think that parents, many of whom will fondly remember the original Barney from their own childhoods, will love the show too. Now, it does actually go and mention that right over here, actually, bringing up the fact that in 2019, apparently Mattel was considering the idea of making a darker movie that would feature Barney, in which Daniel Kaluuya would be one of the producers. Now, we don't know what's going to be happening, and with the fact that they are going to do this big relaunch, maybe those plans are going to be different, maybe those plans are scrapped, but who knows? But one thing that we do know is that Mattel is planning a big comeback with Barney. So honestly, I just gotta say that it is very interesting to see that we are legitimately gonna see a big Barney comeback. Now, last time I talked about him, it's in regards to a documentary called I Love You, You Hate Me, which is right now a two-parter documentary that you can find on Peacock. And it actually brings up the very fascinating phenomenon of the hatred towards Barney. Nothing that Barney has done that would make him cancelable or anything. It just became this massive trend about hating Barney and dedicating songs and all that kind of stuff of Barney getting injured or dead or anything like that. You know, it really was something in which when you do look back, yeah, it was a very cruel, it was a very cruel trend, a trend in which, honestly, I did confess that I did once participate during my childhood, or like there was a moment in my childhood where like I was involved with the whole trend and participated with that along with my friends. But yeah, like when you think about it now, it was just like very unnecessary and a very mean-spirited trend. And kind of ironic too, considering that when I was a child, like during my toddler age, like I used to watch Barney. I used to actually watch the series myself. So honestly, after going through that and after reflecting upon like our actions of what we have done to Barney back then, you know what? I feel like with what Mattel is planning here, I feel like it's very much needed. I think Barney, out of all the preschool characters out there, does need a relaunch. I think he does need to have a comeback so that he can have a second chance in our society to go and be a phenomenon without receiving like the hatred that he would have back then. Like it really was unnecessary. So I think it's actually very nice. Now, what specifically they're going to go and plan out, like what are they going to do with the YouTube content, the animated show, or the movie, or stuff like that, I think that has to remain to be seen. But honestly, thinking about Barney, like why not actually have a character to come back and to teach kids again about kindness, about using your imagination, about dreaming big? Like I think it's all like, especially in this technological age and in this very cynical age of social media, like it is important that we would have those reminders. And, we would need more shows than just Sesame Street to rely on that, or at least the popular preschool brands to go and remind us of that. I think it's nice that we would have something like Barney to go and return. But there is one thing I do need to go and comment, and I'll just say right now, this is all coming from someone who used to grow up with Barney. Someone who is very familiar with the OG Barney, the original purple dinosaur. And that has to be the new design that they gave him. I just need to ask, what the fridge is this? I mean, I can recognize that it's Barney. Like, yeah, it's very Barney-ish. In fact, can we have like a bigger picture of this? Oh yeah, okay. Okay. It does not fit well in here. Okay, I'll just keep it like this. But like when you look at him, I can't help but feel like they made some changes to Barney that just they don't suit him well. And it's especially when it comes to the face. I don't know about you, but I feel like when you look past when you look at the original Barney, his face is like, it's very round. I think that's the best way to describe Barney, is that he's a very round dinosaur, especially when it comes to his head. But then you look at this Barney, they really changed him up where he looks a bit more like an amphibian, where like his eye, like his brows and eyes are like popping out of his head. Like he has like these prominent cheekbones. I don't know. I feel like you know what it looks like? It looks like they gave Barney a facelift. Like Barney, like the fact that Barney is an older property, they decided to go and update him by giving him a facelift, by giving him some Botox, where now Barney looks a little bit similar to someone like Angelina Jolie or something like that. I mentioned that on social media. And funny enough, there's actually someone on Twitter in which they actually told me that, well, I mean, to be fair, Barney literally is a dinosaur, and with that age, like he can go and he might need some of that update in order to keep his youth, to keep him young. It's like Barney needs to have that kind of explanation. Well, you see, kids, I am a literal dinosaur, so of course I need to go and make myself look young. I can't do that naturally anymore, so I rely on my doctors to do so. Yeah, I'm sure there must be I'm sure there must be like an episode for the animated series in which the kids imagine themselves as surgeons, in which they need to give Barney that facelift. It's like, wow, I look 25 already. Or another one. Oh my God. Oh, schnut. Oh, am I frozen again? Oh, schnut. Crap. Hold on a sec. I'll be right back. Just need to go and fix that. Dang it. I did not expect that this would be a reoccurring problem with my streaming. Hopefully I'll go and fix that up once again. So just need to give it time to go and reboot it a little bit. And don't worry, it will be okay. Hold on. I'll fix it. Don't worry. And we were going so well too. Oh, great. No, yes, you can connect. Don't lie to me. Okay, there we go. All right, so we're gonna go and all right, so let's see. All right, people, can you see me? Can you hear me? Are we back on? Okay, good. We're back. Perfect. Wonderful. Okay, so now that we are back, just getting back to what I was talking about, actually there is someone on Twitter who actually posted a really funny image where with the way Barney looks, and especially with his pose, like the person actually photoshopped Mario like riding Barney. And it's true, like he actually, it does look like Barney is starting to morph into Yoshi. Like, this is the closest thing we would get to a purple Yoshi. And not only that, but if anything, maybe there are those there are plenty of comparisons people would go and make and their comments on Barney. But one thing I gotta say, and the most common comparison people would do, and the most common comment that they would make on this new Barney is that he looks like baloney. And I don't mean that metaphorically, but I literally mean that he looks like baloney. Like, that same Barney parody from AniMat's. Like, you can actually see the comparison right over here. Like, just paint this thing purple, and like, you would actually get, whoops, nope, I'm not asking for you. Like, you would actually get this Barney. Like, you see what I mean, right? You see, like, this is baloney, and this is Barney. Like, you can actually, like, you actually do see it, especially, like, with the updates, like, the prominent cheekbones as well. Like, it's all there. Like, you got a purple baloney right over here. Oh, boy. But, yeah, but either way, though, I just want to go and state that, like, I know what I said, like, it's nothing but a stupid comment. I'm not saying that to go and throw, I'm not trying to throw hate on Barney. I'm not trying to bash the design or anything like that. I know that it is meaningless because I'm not the target audience here. Like, I know that this is made for a new generation of children, and I'm sure that they could definitely be on board with this new Barney and with this new movement that they are doing at Mattel. I am fully in support of it. I'm just, honestly, I'm just teasing. That's really what I'm doing. I'm just teasing this new Barney and stuff like that. and hope, I'm really wishing it the best, that it can go well. I'm not encouraging any hate campaigns. I'm not doing like a while ago, like those crazy Thomas fans when they saw that All Engines Go show. Like, you guys remember that, when you see a bunch of grown-ups getting so emotionally triggered and throwing a massive temper tantrum over a preschool show? I don't care what the context is. I don't care how much of a Thomas fanboy you are. That behavior is just unnecessary because it's for kids. It's not meant for you. Get that in your head. Oh boy. But overall though, with this entire thing with Barney, again, I fully do support it. Yes, I may not be necessarily a big fan of the new design, but then again, I'm just speaking out of nostalgia based on from what I remember on Barney. But honestly though, with everything else, I think this is a great idea, especially after what we have learned with I Love You, You Hate Me. Barney does deserve a second chance in the mainstream. He deserves to have his comeback to teach kids about being kind, about being inclusive, and just about using, and learning how to use your imagination. So honestly, I'm fully on board with this plan. All right, so with that said and done, I would like to go into the chat wall, and now it's time I want to ask you, how do you feel about this new Barney coming back? How do you feel that Barney is going to be returning in 2024 with YouTube content, with a new animated show, and with a new movie? Let me know what you think. All right, let's see what we got. Let's see. I'm honestly very conflicted by this announcement. Personally, I never grew up watching Barney, but honestly, I could see how an animated series of Barney could work and give Barney a second chance and hopefully not get hate like last time. Although the design does look weird. I do hope the show can be successful. Also, in terms of other great preschool shows, I highly recommend checking out Bluey. Oh yeah, of course. I mean, Bluey is a phenomenon nowadays that even adults are getting into it. I would even say that Bluey is becoming the next My Little Pony as the next unexpected phenomenon, especially when it's very popular amongst people who are outside the primary target audience. Let's see now. Oh boy, how can I put this? To quote the amazing Bulk, well, it ain't Barney the Purple Dinosaur. To switch to CGI is very off to me, and it looks like a rejected Mario movie character. I used to watch and love Barney as a kid, and even own the DVDs and merch, though I'm more of the Wiggles fan back in my day. Awesome show, by the way. While it's nice that Barney is making a comeback, this is not the way to go. I grew out of the show, so I'm not in a rush to watch it. Nice Barney impression, by the way. Oh, well, thank you. Sometimes it is a fun voice to go and do, especially with how silly it may sound. Although I will say, though, it's going to be weird to hear that voice coming from this Yoshi-like creature. I mean, this purple baloney, if you will. All right, anyways, let's see. Man, they made Barney more terrifying than Daniel Kaluuya would have ever hoped. I'm not a big Barney fan since I'm 20. Wait, really? JF, you're just 20? Holy crap, I'm getting old. Anyways, but this could end up being interesting. Why not even revive the idea of the darker Barney movie? Like, make it about the time Barney started a tantric sex business. True story. The crazy thing is, I would call you insane for that, but I somehow know what you mean. I actually understand what you're talking about. But anyways, also, how is Mattel making a theatrically released Barney movie and not a theatrically released Thomas the Tank Engine movie? I mean, seriously, that movie would practically write itself. Then again, maybe they're just learning from their experience after what happened with the, what was it? The Magic Railroad? The one with Alec Baldwin and I was about to say Maya Rudolph, but, crap, what is her name? Fudge Nabbit. Who's the Matilda girl? Why is it that I blanked out on her name? What? Chatwall, can you remind me of what her name is? I am sorry that I'm brain farting right now. Mara Wilson. Thank you. Mara Wilson, that's what I mean. Maybe it's like they, maybe they're just still too traumatized after the Magic Railroad. That could be the thing. Let's see what else we have here. Now that we're getting a CG Barney series, we could finally see Barney make facial expressions for the first time ever in Barney's Legacy. Oh boy, I don't know if I'm ready for that. That sounds like a weird concept of Barney making facial expressions. I don't know. Like, again, I'm speaking as a 90s kid who used to watch Barney. I don't know if I'm ready for that, to see Barney having like several facial expressions, or seeing his mouth actually make words, like more than just like that. Oh man, that's gonna be such a weird adjustment though. Oh boy, man. Oh, that's gonna be tough to like go through for me, at least. I'm not saying that I'm going to be watching this Barney series, but just seeing that, I don't know if I'm going to be ready for that. Okay, let's see now. Let's see. As a Thomas fan myself, I'm guilty to be one of those people who complain about All Engines Go. I do apologize for engaging in that activity. I always have the classic model train episodes. Oh, there you go. I mean, at least you admit like the error of your ways, and as long as you learn from your mistakes, you can move forward from there. So don't worry about it, dude. I mean, as long as you've changed and you've proven yourself that you have changed for the better, then it's all good, dude. I should know. Like, I've been through that process myself. Let's see. I don't really care either way. I'm way too old for Barney, and I never liked him when I was a kid. It's funny to see the constantly angry internet mob get upset about it because they have to be upset about something. Barney does look gross, though. He looks like the mutant love child of Twilight Sparkle and Agumon. Oh, I mean, I'm sure you're not the first who thought of that. I'm sure that maybe there's someone out there on the internet who has considered that shipping idea. You never know. All right, I think I'm going to read one more comment before we go into the last story. Oh, what better way to end it on that one? Honestly, you have no idea how nice that sounds. I always wanted to see him have a comeback. Granted, that design, less exaggerating on the eyes and cheeks, and it's okay. I said once wanted him to have even a more happy ending, considering I felt like he was always a support character to me, and I'll be happy about it, since it's true we need him now more than ever. Show the world that love. By the way, you make a great impression. Thank you. All right, so with that said, we are gonna go and have one more break, and then we will go into the grand finale, in which we're not going to be looking into the Super Bowl, but we will be looking into the Super Bowl of video game announcements. All right, folks, it is time. We are now going to be diving into the grand finale, and how fitting that I would go and use the Smash Bros. Alarm for this grand finale, considering that we are now going to be diving into one of the biggest entertainment news from last week, and that is the Nintendo Direct. Yes, Nintendo has officially announced even more of a big list of announcements that they have made for the February 2023 edition of Nintendo Direct. And man, there have been some big announcements in here. So much so that some people are saying that this is easily amongst the best Nintendo Directs that we have had. And so, without further ado, I will go and list them all up in terms of what we have gotten. And I will go and immediately put my comment onto each of them. So in a way, we will have a little bit of a lightning round of what we have gotten. So let's go ahead and start things off. I'm going to go from the bottom to the top, in which it is listed here on IGN, starting things off with Master Detective Archives Rain Code, in which they showed a brand new feature and have also revealed that it is going to be coming out on June 30th. Then following afterwards, they have also revealed Dead Police, which is a brand new game coming to us from Level 5, the people that have created Professor Layton, a game in which It looks like a JRPG, but you are playing as the police in a virtual world, which that's going to be coming soon later this year. Then afterwards, at the beginning of the Direct, they have revealed Fashion Dreamer, in which you will be playing a fashion influencer, climbing your way to the top to become the ultimate fashion influencer, in which it is a game that I don't know if any gamer really does care about it, in which that will be coming out in 2023. Although, to say the least, maybe this will go and make a great Game Grumps episode. Then following afterwards, we got Omega Strikers, which is a free-to-play online multiplayer in which you will play air hockey with a whole bunch of colorful characters, in which that's going to be coming out on April 27th. Then after that, there is Ghost Trick Phantom Detective, who is finally going to be making his HD comeback ever since his days on the Nintendo DS and PC in 2010 in Japan, and his game is actually going to be coming out in the summer of 2023. Then afterwards, we got Katamari. Yes, there is a remake of the Katamari game called We Love Katamari Reroll plus Royal Reverie. I hope I'm saying that right. But yes, We Love Katamari is finally going to be coming to the Switch, along with a brand new mode in which you can play a young version of King of All Cosmos in 5 new challenges, as well as a mode in which you can go and take selfies. And that is actually going to be coming out on June 2nd, and I'm immediately putting this as one of my most anticipated games, or one of the things that I am the most excited about that was announced on this Nintendo Direct. I've seen a lot of gameplay of We Love Katamari, and so far, I'm very much excited for what we have in store over here. So honestly, I can't wait to try my hands on this. Then after that, we got Fantasy Life I, The Girl Who Steals Time, which is said to be like a combination of Final Fantasy and Animal Crossing, which that's going to be coming out later this year. Then after that, we got, what was it? Oh yes, Harmony, The Fall of Reverie, which is actually going to be brought to us by the developers of Life is Strange Don't Nod, which I will admit, it is one of the more interesting games that they have revealed. This is actually more of a cinematic game, more so than something that you would really go and play. And especially, like, I will say, the trailer is worth checking out because that animation is actually very impressive. I recommend you go and look into that. Then afterwards, we got Samba de Amigo Party Central, the comeback of Samba de Amigo since the Wii game back in 2008, in which they promise 40 brand new songs and even an online mode called World Party Mode, in which this is something, honestly, I gotta say, is one of the biggest surprises for me on this Nintendo Direct. I remember the original Samba de Amigo. I loved playing that I loved playing that game when that came out when I was a teen. And honestly, I'm really excited to like return to this. So honestly, it's one that I never thought I would see again, but holy crap, it's back. So honestly, I cannot wait when this comes out in summer of 2023. So yeah, this is amongst my highly anticipated ones. Then after that, very briefly, they revealed Professor Layton and the New World of Steam. So apparently Professor Layton is going to be making a comeback, but apparently we don't know when. We don't know when it's going to be coming out, but it was literally just an announcement that lasted for a few seconds long, and that was it. Apparently, it was literally just that announcement to say that Professor Layton is coming back. Then afterwards, we got Tron Identity, which I believe was one of the big games that Disney revealed during the D23 Expo, in which they stated here that it is a brand new narrative puzzle adventure game based on the classic Disney film Tron, in which this is actually going to be coming out in April. Then afterwards, we got Batten Kaitos 1 and 2 HD Remaster, which that's going to be coming soon eventually. I think it's already on now, or I don't know. They say that's going to be a thing. Then they also announced Etrian Odyssey Origins Collections, which brings the original 3 games to the Nintendo Switch and PC, which that will be coming out on June 1st. And then afterwards, they have revealed a brand new DLC for Dead Cells coming soon on March 6th that will be entirely themed to Castlevania. So you could play the Castlevania game, but now on Dead Cells, which that is going to be a big thing that will come soon. Then afterwards, we got a brand new Bayonetta game, or specifically a Bayonetta prequel that is going to be called Bayonetta Origins, Cereza and the Lost Demon, in which Cereza is actually the little girl that we know today as Bayonetta. And the best way to go and describe it is that this is actually if you combine Bayonetta with Alice in Wonderland, especially with the aesthetics of the game, and not to mention that the demon partner that follows Cereza around is named Cheshire. So that is going to be coming soon on the Switch on March 17th. Then after that, we got Octopath Traveler 2, in which they revealed that the demo is officially out today and that it will officially be released on February 24th. Then afterwards, we also got a new demo that came out today as well of Sea of Stars that is going to be coming out, in which the game itself will be coming out on August 29th. And then afterwards, we got a little bit more gameplay footage of Disney Illusion Island, the Rayman Origins game featuring Mickey, Minnie, Goofy, and Donald, in which they stated that the game will be coming out on July 28th. Then afterwards, we got a whole bunch of DLC coming in. The first of which being Fire Emblem Engage, in which they have revealed a whole bunch more fan favorite characters from Fire Emblem are going to be coming back, including Hector, Soren, Camilla, Chrom, Robin, and Veronica, as well as mentioning that there will be a Wave 4 coming soon that will feature a brand new story called Bell Xenologue. So that was honestly an interesting surprise to see Camilla coming back. Now, keep in mind that I have never played any of the Fire Emblem games. The most that I know about them is from the Super Smash Bros. Games. But please do not ask me how I know about Camilla and how I've never played the Final Fantasy games. Just don't ask. But anyways, we also got new DLC about Xenoblade Chronicles 3, in which they have revealed Volume 3 of the expansion pass with a brand new hero named Masha, who is a new lapid artist. Apparently she has her Archsage gauntlet. Now, I don't know any more details, but I gotta say, that new character for Xenoblade Chronicles 3, whoo, man, am I gonna go to horny jail for that girl. Right there, she is fine. Oh, man, like, that was honestly quite an unexpected surprise. And honestly, it's like, wow, like, seriously, just look her up and, oh boy, like, that is one, that, I gotta see that, whew, no words can really express, that, yeah, she got my heart there. Anyways, they also mentioned that apparently there will be a Volume 4 coming out, in which it will contain a brand new story scenario that will happen. Then afterwards, we got more info on Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe, in which not only can you play a new the demo right now for Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe, but they've also revealed that after you beat story mode, you will unlock a new epilogue in which you will play the game's villain, Magalore, in which he lost all of his energy, he lost all of his powers, and you would go and continue the Kirby game playing as him, but now you got to go and collect more energy so that you can refuel yourself, and that gradually you would go and get your powers back. And by the way, it is worth noting that I also believe that Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe is also going to be coming out next week on February 24th. Then afterwards, we got some big expansion pack updates on Splatoon 3, in which they say that the first wave of the expansion pass will bring Splatoon fans back to the original game, to Inkopolis, in which you could go and explore back and have a little bit of nostalgia for that. And they did state that it will be released for spring of 2023. And also, they have revealed that for the second wave of the expansion pass, it will be this all-white area called Side Order. We don't know more info about that, but apparently that's going to be a thing. Then afterwards, we got Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, in which they've revealed new info about Wave 4. Now, this one, I must say, is the one that I expected the most, in which they would go and reveal. And not only did they reveal that one of the new stages that will be featured will be a brand new one entirely themed on Yoshi's Island, but they've also revealed that Birdo will be a brand new racer in which you could select many different colors of Birdo. And also, on top of that, they have mentioned that for future waves, more characters are going to be coming back who were previously involved with the Mario Kart franchise, but now they will be returning for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Then after that, we got an official release date for Advance Wars 1 and 2 Boot Camp, in which that's going to be coming out on April 21st. And then one of the biggest announcements that they have made is that the Game Boy, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance are now going to be available for the Nintendo Switch Online. And not to mention that they have also revealed that the Game Boy Advance games, they're just going to be a part of the expansion pass. But now you can actually be able to go and play games like Tetris, Super Mario Land 2, 6 Golden Coins, Legend of Zelda, Link's Awakening DX, Gargoyle's Quest, Game & Watch Gallery 3, Alone in the Dark, The New Nightmare, Metroid 2, Return of Samus, Wario Land 3, and Kirby's Dream Land, as well as Game Boy Advance games like Legend of Zelda Minish Cap, Super Mario Advance 4, Super Mario Bros. 3, WarioWare Inc. Micro Minigames, Kuru 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 Rin, Mario Kart Super Circuit, and Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. And they did promise that there will be plenty more that will come soon. And that is another thing that I would say is a big highlight, especially with many beloved games, especially some that I remember from my childhood, like Kirby's Dream Land or Wario Land 3 or Super Mario Advance 4 as well, or especially Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. But this also gives me an opportunity to play games that I never had before in the past, like Super Mario Land 2 or Mario Kart Super Circuit. So that, I gotta say, is very exciting. Then after that, we got Pikmin 4, the opener of the Nintendo Direct, in which they showed more gameplay footage and new mechanics as well, including a cute little pupper named Ochi, who will be your companion throughout your adventures, and a brand new ice Pikmin, in which you'll be able to freeze enemies, and you'll be able to freeze body of water so that you can cross through rivers and stuff like that. And also have confirmed that the game will be coming out on July 21st, and even a little stinger that apparently some of the enemies, their eyes will be glowing. What does that mean? I have no idea. Then after that, they did another major announcement of Metroid Prime Remastered. Yes, the rumors are finally true. Metroid Prime is finally getting a remake for the Nintendo Switch. And there are actually multiple ways that you could go and control it, in which it states that while there will be new dual stick controls in this remaster, there will also be an additional control option that will recreate the feel of the original game. And apparently you can actually get this game now on the Nintendo eShop, but you can wait until next week on February 22nd, where you can go and actually get a physical copy. So honestly, and I'll just say right now, as someone who has never played any of the Metroid Prime games, I honestly feel like this is exciting, and it does give me a chance to replay that game again, to actually go and play that game for myself. So honestly, I'm gonna wait until the physical copy does come out, because I want to try this myself. I want to see how Metroid Prime is. And then finally, last but not least, the finale of this Nintendo Switch, Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, in which they showed brand new gameplay footage and more things that you can do in the sequel to Breath of the Wild, including a new mechanic in which you can go and actually create some vehicles, whether it be to drive around Hyrule or just fly around the skies. And on top of that, they have also revealed that not only is there going to be a brand new Link amiibo based on his version in Tears of the Kingdom, but there's also going to be a collector's edition that will come with the physical version of the game, an art book, a steelbook case, an icon art steelbook poster, and a set of 4 pin badges. And of course, this is going to be coming out on May 12th. And I just want to go and state this right now, that out of all the announcements, one that I am really surprised about that they didn't announce anything is actually in regards to Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and their DLCs. I mean, you saw how there were like so many DLCs that were revealed of Fire Emblem, of Splatoon 3, of Xenoblade Chronicles. I was surprised to find that none of them would actually be in regards to DLC of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I mean, we're already a few months in the new Pokemon game, so I feel like eventually, or at least pretty soon, we will be hearing more info about that, if this is something that Pokemon is planning on doing, of course. So yeah, honestly, there are some, I would say, or maybe a handful that I am excited about, like Samba de Amigo, We Love Katamari, the Game Boy games online, and also, of course, Tears of the Kingdom and Metroid Prime Remastered. But I do understand why many people love this direct, with all the big announcements that they are doing. The big headliners, they really do sell well. Confirmed a lot of rumors, bringing back a lot of iconic moments in Nintendo's history, like the Game Boy games or the first Splatoon game or Metroid Prime. Overall, very solid direct, and a lot of things in here that even I'm very much excited about. Okay, so with that said and done, I would like to go into the chat wall, and I want to ask you, what do you think about this Nintendo Direct? Which are the games are you the most excited about? Let me know what you all think on that. All right, let's see. This was an incredible Direct. So many great games announcements, and only a few lame ones. I'll say I'm most excited for Pikmin 4 and Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp. But what about Tears of the Kingdom? What about Tears of the Kingdom? Anyways, I'm glad we're getting more characters for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and hope Samus, Pit, Captain Falcon will be added. The Metroid Prime Remaster is phenomenal, and I hope Echoes and Corruption will get the same treatment. But seriously, still no GameCube games on the Nintendo Switch Online? Be patient. It will eventually happen. Just hold on tight. Let's see now. Let's go. Lightning round. Pikmin 4. Protect Doggo at all costs. Xenoblade 3. Matt getting 6 months in horny jail because of Masha. Fire Emblem and another 6 months because of Camilla. Can I be in horny jail with those two? Can I be with both of them? Like it'll make my time worth it. Let's see. Layton, yes please. Game Boy and Game Boy Advance, take my money. Kirby, Magalore is getting his anime redemption arc. Tears of the Kingdom, this better be worth $70. All of the RPGs. Wait, since you tend to farm for items in these kinds of games, does this mean we're still stuck with the farming games? Oh my god, that is so true. Oh my god, no, I don't know, man. I remember like the Animal Crossing Fantasy one. Like some people are saying it's like, oh, is this the farming one? Is this our mandatory farming game like we got in the last Direct? Oh, I never made that connection. Maybe, who knows? It depends on how you play the RPGs. All right, anyways, let's see. Oh, and in response, he's wow. No, and apparently, no, I sadly cannot have Camilla and Masha. Oh, less sad. Okay, anyways, I gotta say, this was actually a really great Nintendo Direct. For me, my most anticipated games are Pikmin 4, the Metroid Prime Remaster, the Splatoon 3 Expansion Pass, Wave 4 of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster, of course, and Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. However, in terms of announcements, I'm actually really surprised we didn't get Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC. Considering how big the game has become, I'm surprised they didn't announce extra content. I don't know, maybe honestly, they could be saving that for like their own Direct, because it is true that when it comes to Pokemon, they don't normally announce it on the regular Direct. They would go and reserve that for like their own Nintendo Direct, like a small 15-minute Nintendo Direct. So that could be what they're saving it for. Let's see now. To me, this Direct started slow, but when they reached to the 10-minute mark, it started to get going. Some games I am actually looking forward to, like Katamari, more Splatoon stuff, and the big game for me is Professor Layton. To me, Zelda sadly doesn't look like my cup of tea, but I am so happy for people who are looking forward to it. Really can't wait to finally get my hands on Layton though, but we know what we are all excited to play for is Fashion Designer. You can't lie to yourself. Maybe. I don't know. It depends. I'm just waiting on what Aaron and Dan has to say first. All right, so with that said and done, I think that should do it for today's episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast. Thank you all so much for joining me on this. Man, did this turn out to be a fantastic episode. I definitely felt great after all that. And hopefully we will keep this momentum going with the next episodes to come. So with all that said and done, let me just go and remind you that why not go and actually subscribe to my Twitch channel, AniMat Live, or the AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast YouTube channel, along with following me on whatever podcast service you're listening to, whether it be on Spotify, Amazon, Google Play, iTunes, or whatever. But with all that said and done, I would like to say thank you all so much for joining me on this. Thank you all so much for listening. Thank you all so much for watching. And until next time, see you later, dudes.